Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Jason and the channel is The Everyday Card Collector. This is a sports card collecting hobby channel, and in my first official video, I'm going to give you a channel introduction. We're going to talk about the hobby and how I like to collect, and we're going to look at some cards. So let's get into it. So I started collecting when I was about 12. I'm creeping up on 50 in a couple weeks here. So do the math on that. We're talking 35 years of collecting. I collected heavily from about 12 to 16, 17 years old. And that is the prime quote unquote junk wax era. 84, 85, 86 up until 89, 90. So I've got all of that stuff kind of faded out of collecting. As you get older, you find other interests, you get involved in other things, and then collecting takes a back seat. But I always kind of came back to it. As time went on, in my early 20s, I kind of dipped back into it. In my early 30s, I dipped back into it again. So I've been in and out of the hobby the entire time. So consider myself a collector of that amount of time at least. Never sold anything, never got rid of anything. So my cards are still my cards from 12 to 20 to 30 to now. What really dove me into this hobby heavily was, of course, the pandemic hit. Everybody had nothing to do, sitting at home for months on end. I started going through my stuff, and when I went online, it kind of dove me into another world. I started looking up channels, and some of the earlier channels that I watched kind of caught my interest a little bit, but it was nothing major. A lot of, right when I started looking at channels, I don't know, I'm guessing it was like 2020-ish. So I was seeing a lot of breakers and things of that nature. And then I kind of stumbled onto the quote unquote vintage baseball channels. And that kind of got me hook, line, and sinker. So dove into those channels and kind of really heavily got involved into the hobby at that point in time. I'm considered a lurker. So if you follow a bunch of these vintage channels, they use the term lurker. And I was probably one of the king lurkers. 30, 40 channels I would watch at a time, and I wouldn't comment, and I would just watch. The awesome thing about it was you learn a ton off of these channels. I've learned more in the last 2 to 3 years than I would have ever have learned in the 30 plus years prior collecting. So I've learned a ton. These channels, I kind of saw that this was a community, and a community that was building pretty quickly. A lot of new channels coming in, a lot of the quote unquote veteran channels that have been there forever. And I kind of was seeing the community. Now, after watching for 2 or 3 years, I've been on a couple of the live streams. I actually went to the National last year. I'm from the Chicago area, so I went to the National last year. They had a meet and greet. A lot of the YouTube channels had a meet and greet. I got to meet some of these guys. Kind of told them I was interested in starting a channel, and man, they just jumped on it, and they stay on you. So done a couple live streams with these guys, not necessarily as a guest, just as as a guest on the channel, but just kind of as a watcher of the channel. I've been on a couple of the live chats and the live streams, and already I've met a few of these gentlemen at the National, but I don't know all of them and feel like I do already, just by having conversations with them on their particular channel. So the community itself is huge. Like I said, I am mainly focused on vintage baseball, but collect everything. So you'll see everything on this channel. You'll see all sports. You'll see football. You'll see baseball. You'll see hockey. You'll see a little bit of golf even. So it's just what I like to do. Sports have always played a big role in my life. I am not a reseller. I do not resell. I've never sold a card in my life. I just want to build the best collection that I can for me and enjoy it. You can see behind me, I'm displaying some of my cards already. That's pretty much it. I'm hoping to teach a little bit on this channel. Like I said earlier, I learned a ton from watching these other YouTube channels. I'm still going to continue to shout out channels even when I'm a young channel, because these guys have been so fantastic in encouraging me to start this channel. Like I said earlier, I'm going to hope to teach a little bit, maybe. I'm not the most knowledgeable guy in the world. I don't claim to be, but I have learned a lot in the past year and a half, and I'm hoping to show off my hobby and just kind of enjoy this channel and enjoy it for what it is. But I guess I'll start this first official video just by showing off some cards. This is going to be random. I'm not going to show anything in particular. You're going to see a gambit of stuff. I guess kind of on purpose. It's not just going to be vintage baseball. I'm going to show you a bunch of stuff, show you some of the cards that I love, and then we'll take it from there. All right, let me turn this camera around and we'll start looking. Of course, I'm going to start off with some vintage baseball. Kind of go through a couple cards that I love. Give you a little information if I can. Like I said, don't claim to be the most knowledgeable guy in the world, but kind of show you what I've got, and we'll take it from there. Just enjoy showing off some cards. So my first card is the only current T206 that I own. This is George Davis. He was a Hall of Famer. Played for the White Sox for about 6 or 7 years. He was a shortstop and switch hitting shortstop. And actually, I think he finished his career with like a .295 batting average, which is pretty impressive for a guy who was hitting the ball or playing during the dead ball era. But my first official T206, and the reason I bought it is I am a White Sox fan. I'm a White Sox fan and a Cardinals fan. So you might see a lot of White Sox cards and a lot of Cardinal cards at first here, but I do collect everything. So yeah, that's my first and only T206 at this moment in time, but hoping to get some more into the collection soon. Next card, this is a 1933 Goudey, Ted Lyons. Trying to get that glare out of there. Another Hall of Famer as well, another White Sox Hall of Famer. Played his whole career with the White Sox. I think it was 20 years as a pitcher. I do collect graded and ungraded cards, guys, and I'm going to be honest with you, the grades don't mean a whole heck of a lot to me. You'll see this is only a 2.5, but I absolutely love the card. It's an awesome looking card. I love the colors. I love the pose. I bought this ungraded and graded it myself and got the 2.5 and was thrilled with it. The first two cards that you've seen here that I'm showing you, the reason I have them is, in watching all those YouTube channels, because when I kind of dove back into the hobby, you kind of just go willy-nilly and you start buying everything you can. Well, I wanted to kind of get a little direction for my collection. And some of the channels were mentioning, have a plan, try and do something that you want to do. So these two cards are part of something that I'm trying to do. I am trying to collect every Hall of Famer that played with the White Sox for more than 5 years. And I want to get either their rookie card, if their rookie card was with the White Sox, or their first card in a White Sox uniform. So these two cards fall into that category. And, as my channel progresses, I'll probably show off more of them. And then once I complete this whole set or run, I'll probably show it as a whole. But, yeah, 33 Goudey, awesome set. Those who do collect and are familiar with vintage, it's an iconic set. So that's that. Next card is a 1953 Sherman Lawler. He is not a Hall of Famer, but again, being a White Sox fan, I saw this card, and this card is just awesome looking. I don't know what it is, but I have a thing for catcher cards. And him wearing his hat backwards, the art on the card itself, it's just awesome. I think he played with the Sox for roughly 12 years. I believe he's I think he's 7-time All-Star, and I think he's got 1 Gold Glove, maybe more. I might be wrong on that. So if anybody knows, feel free to comment and let me know how many Gold Gloves Sherm has, but I think 1. I think it was 57. But just an awesome looking card. And again, those who do collect vintage and know, the 57 set is a beautiful set. And I picked this card up at a show maybe a year ago for virtually nothing. And it's just a beautiful card. I love it. I'll give you guys prices when I can, if I can remember. I think I bought this card for like $25. Graded in a 4, older PSA holder, but just an awesome card to have. So, okay, on to the next one. This guy I actually purchased at the National last year, where I met some of the YouTube gentlemen that I was talking about earlier in the video. I love this card. 1956, Mickey Mantle, iconic set, iconic player, iconic card. When I kind of started really diving into vintage, it was almost at the peak of prices for cards, and never in my life did I think I'd be able to afford this card. As prices dropped, this card became more affordable. I actually went to the National looking to buy something else, and I saw this and had to have it. It is only a 1.5. Again, I've told you guys, and I'm kind of moving it around so that I can get the glare out of it and see it myself. The grade doesn't mean much to me. It's centered fairly well. The corners are pretty touched up. There's a little crease in the upper right-hand corner, but to me, it's an awesome looking 1.5. And I'm thrilled to have this in the collection, and probably one of my favorite cards, because if you asked me to give you a favorite card, I don't think I could, but this is one of my favorite cards. So next card, this is a shout out to all of the YouTube channel guys that I do talk to. A bunch of them out there. They rag on Harold Baines for being in the Hall of Fame, and justifiably so. I don't know if he belongs there. He maybe belongs in the Hall of Real Good, but he was my guy growing up, and he is part of that White Sox collection I mentioned earlier. So this is his 1981 Topps and his rookie card in an 8, and you know, he doesn't get a lot of love in the hobby, and a lot of people don't understand or disagree with him being in the Hall of Fame, I should say, and I may agree with him as well, but still, Hall of Famer, and he was my guy growing up, so cool card for me to have. I love the 81 Topps with the caps in the lower left-hand corner. Very cool. All right, next card. Again, I think I mentioned it earlier, I am a White Sox and a Cardinals fan. So this is my 1960 Bob Gibson, second year Gibson. I love this set, horizontal set, so a little more difficult to display when you have the display cases, but absolutely awesome set. I love the colors on it. In this particular card, I think I did buy it raw and had it graded myself. I think there's a stain in the lower right-hand corner, hence the 3.5 grade, but could care less. I think it's an awesome card. Absolutely love it. Second year Bob Gibson, how do you go wrong? And then the next card I have is 1983. So this would be considered, in my world, I consider vintage everything up until 1980. So this technically wouldn't be vintage in my world, but still one of my favorite hitters. Him and Frank Thomas are probably my two favorite hitters. Obviously Frank for being a Sox fan, and Tony Gwynn just for being the most consistent hitter throughout his era. Minus maybe, I should take that back, minus maybe Ted Williams too. So awesome card, got it in an 8. Bought this for virtually nothing. I think it was like 30 bucks when I bought it, and thrilled to have it. So that's my Tony Gwynn. I guess we'll go into some of my ungraded stuff. I got this pretty cheap. I bought this, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago. I love some of these combo cards. Giant Gunners, Orlando Cepeda and Willie Mays, 1964. Two Hall of Famers, awesome card. How do you not like two Hall of Famers in a card? I love the pose. This card's centered pretty well. I think there is a slight crease in it, and you might not be able to see it through the one touch, but regardless, I'm probably going to get it graded at some point in time, just to encase it, but I do display my cards also just in their one touches, so happy to have this in the collection as well. And then, as I mentioned, and as you saw with my Bob Gibson, being a Cardinals fan, I had to get my first Stan Musial, or the first Stan Musial in a Topps card in my first video. So this I bought shortly after the pandemic, and it's kind of touched up. It's not in the best shape, but I absolutely love it. I think the centering is great. And once I buy a card, I don't look to upgrade necessarily. So this is it. This will be my 58 Stan Musial All-Star card forever. I shouldn't say never, but I don't anticipate replacing it. This is probably the guy. So I love this card, and like I said, his first official Topps card. Right, let's get into some vintage football. 69 Gale Sayers, probably my favorite vintage football set, and I think this card in particular is awesome. I am a Bears fan, so it holds a little more weight for me, but I love the magenta background. This one's centered pretty well. Just an awesome running back, and thrilled to have this in the collection as well. And kind of to partner up with that, we just lost this gentleman recently. Rest in peace to one of the greatest linebackers of all time. This is the 69 Dick Butkus. I think both him and Gale's rookie card are the 66 Philadelphia. They both came in, were drafted, I think 2 and 3, right behind each other in 66, if I'm not mistaken. But love this card. It's not centered perfectly, but again, for me, guys, centering and corners and edges, you know, that's all important to me. But at the end of the day, if I like the card, it doesn't have to be perfect for me. It really doesn't. And I got this card at a local show. I'm in the Chicagoland area at one of the Chicago Sports Spectacular shows maybe about a year and a half ago, and absolutely love it. Quick story on this guy. This is my Terry Bradshaw rookie card. Got a close friend of mine who his father had passed away, and his father had a card collection, and my friend didn't know what to do with them, and he offered to show them to me, and then when I asked him what he wanted for him, he said, just take them. There's not, there wasn't anything of massive value in them. This is a Terry Bradshaw rookie card, which is awesome card, but you can see, and there's a lot of glare coming in off the left there, but you can see it's pretty touched up. Corners are pretty touched up, a couple pretty big creases in it, but shoot, still an awesome card and a Terry Bradshaw rookie card, so I'm thrilled to have it. It's never going to leave the collection. So thank you to my friend. You know who you are if you watch this video. All right, I guess I will show you the greatest athlete of all time in the history of the world, in my opinion. Again, being from the Chicago area, and I grew up in the prime Michael Jordan era, and this was my guy. This is the oldest Jordan that I have, so I don't have an 87. This is the 88 Flair. I don't have an 87, and I don't have, obviously, the 86 sticker or the rookie card. Maybe someday. So this is my oldest Jordan, which is the 88 Flair, and absolutely love it. This was also Scottie Pippen's rookie card, and I do have his rookie card, so I kind of have them paired together. But awesome card. I bought it raw, again, probably maybe in my 20s. And when I got back into the hobby and started to learn about grading, I sent it off and it got an 8, which I thought was awesome. It's not centered great, but corners are pretty decent. So it's a card that I love, and my favorite athlete of all time by far. So, and I guess we'll kind of finish this off with kind of an oddball. So I think this is from 2001. Again, one of those times where you dip in and out of the hobby. I had to be maybe 26 or 27. Just recently bought my first home and had my first child, and kind of got back into cards for a little bit. And this is the Tiger Slam card. So it came in this case, so I didn't put it in the quote-unquote screw down or whatever this is. I guess it's kind of a screw down. But this is the Tiger Slam card, and it was, or is, a numbered card. A numbered card back then was, up to 5,000. So when I got back into the hobby during the pandemic, looked this up thinking it was going to be worth millions of dollars, and it's a nice card. Again, value doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot to me, but needless to say, I couldn't retire off of it. But I love the card. Generational guy, definitely another GOAT. And I have some other golf cards that I'll show in the future, but this one I thought I'd grab right off the bat and show it off. So again, numbered out of 5,000. I think mine was, 4,000, 4,800 or something like that. Yeah, so I think I'll kind of cut it here, guys. This is a long video for my first one. But yeah, that's a brief look at some of the cards in my collection. There'll be more videos to come, and I appreciate all you watching. Please feel free to hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you on the next one.